Hello, Doberman's Rock here. I just want to start out with a big shout out to a good friend of mine, SaltyShellBack. He's an NDI inspector and has access to a lot of different types of metal and things of that nature. It's his whole job to study the structures of the metal and how it can bend and what its hardness is and all things I don't have any clue about probably too, and I can only dream it up. But he had some spare titanium sitting around, so he said he was procrastinating on it for a while, and I guess I get to procrastinate a little bit too, Salty, because it's a great material, as we all know, but this is it's intimidating. It's intimidating for hand tools. There's no doubt about that. It might be why humans didn't use it for a very long time in our history. There, we just didn't find it. All right. So thanks again, brother. I really appreciate it. That changes things around, and a little bit of philosophy today on some knives and things, and a story. I was at a friend of mine's house once, and he wasn't new to guns by any means, and he'd never taken his AR-15 completely apart. Being a veteran, we could do it in our sleep. Most of us, not all, it's most of us. So I took it apart, and he's freaking out, dancing around, in his garage, like thinking I'm gonna break something. He'd never seen it taken apart so far. It was a mystery to him, and my girl at the time, she walked through, and she was a veteran. And I said, hey, tell him where you think everything gets dirty. And she pointed it all out. Well, I had already pointed out where it all got dirty, and then she kind of reinforced that for me, and then we cleaned it and slapped it all back together, and I could see the wheels turn in his head a little bit, that he no longer had to be afraid of that process with that piece of equipment. My career field is helicopters, so some things can be intimidating, and other things you can do in your sleep or blindfolded. My history with knives, some of my philosophy on knives. I've been around them all my life. I'm a knife collector. I've always had a fascination with them. I think my first knife was a Swiss Army knife, just one of the standard red-sided, 2 blades, can opener, bottle opener, whatever, or that kind of thing. And I think I was 4 or 5 when I got that. And then it was soon after that my eye caught the Buck 110. And now you gotta remember, I grew up in the 70s, and in the 70s, a Buck 110, in the history of that, when that knife showed up on the scene, it was a revolutionary deal for a lot of people. It was made well. It was stout. It felt good in the hand. It had a solid lock on it. It wasn't bad to look at. It had a functional sheath. It was a good belt rider. And being as where I grew up, a small cul-de-sac with 6 houses, 4 of the houses were occupied by bikers. So back in the day, that was kind of the knife they carried on their sides. Sorry about that. And I was immediately interested. It was on my hit list of things to own in life. And I owned a bunch of knives before I even got my first buck folder. I even owned other bucks. I owned a lot of knives. And when I was about 12, I think I saved up my pennies after doing a month of yard work or something in the summertime, and I afforded one. And just throughout my life, expensive knives, cheap knives, all kinds of knives have come through my hands, and I've looked at them. And this day and age, what I'm finding on YouTube videos is people will take knives today that, if they existed 30 years ago, would be astonishing and remarkable to the general public. Only the real craftsmen in it would maybe even have an idea of some of that stuff going on. That is now just, it's all that's under the cases. You can't go into a place that doesn't have 150 knives that are black handles with a satin deal with a goofy lock system, some liner locks, and it's almost kind of like we're beating a dead horse trying to find a living horse. And throughout my life, even with expensive knives, what I found is the knife I've carried the longest, done the most with, deployed the most with, carried just about almost every day, is the most simple knife and on the cost spectrum, it's very, very, very low. It was super low on the cost spectrum. If I ever lose it or break it, it wasn't anything that I was gonna bust a tear in my beer for. And it made a good pocket knife. I still have it to this day. I got it when I was 14 and I'm in my 40s now. It's my go-to knife. It always will be. It's what I found that works for me and what I do. And that's true for everybody. I think what it was a lifetime of a search, trying to still find the better things and still just landing on the same old knife that I had. So I'm not trying to sell a knife here, and I'm not trying to break a knife, and I'm not trying to do anything. Really, honestly, I've got kitchen knives like this. This is more of an instructional or a jump in feet first kind of different approach to something on YouTube for y'all. That's why I went into getting into the exact specifications and details, because what I have planned for this piece of metal that's sharp on one end and has a handle on the other and it's fixed all the way through is it's not going to look like this when I'm done. I'm going to remove metal and do some things that it's going to make it a more versatile knife for me. It's going to fit in my hand. It's going to do what I want it to do. And the people who go buy a knife and complain about a small aspect here or there, or its shortcomings, unless the knife is completely junk, break out some tools, see what you can do to remedy those problems. That's the start, and it all boils back down to my friend in the garage. It's stepping over the line into the intimidation factor. And if you don't trust yourself with tools and an expensive knife in your vise, I suggest go buy a cheap knife that's got a lot of metal, okay? That gives you ample opportunity to work with. These I know for a fact you can pick them up for $35 or less on the internet. So if you buy a $35 knife as your blank to just toy with, and you're dealing with a hard steel, so that gets you into the hard steels and working with hard steels, that's where I'm going. And we're going to see what I can do with this. Additionally, some of the other knife videos that I'm going to post will be other knives that I work on, and I'm moving into the world of what I call tuning up a knife. And tuning up a knife would be a blade that you get from the factory, and you can see definitively. I've seen bucks with this problem a lot. Buck is notorious with their blades. You'll see definitively the machining, or what I call tool marking, from where they're running their sanders down through those blades and such. And that to me is just, they didn't want to take a minute and just have somebody sand it to where it's a nice smooth flat. There's a $30 knife, $40 knife, and they pulled it off. So if they're able to pull it off, I don't see what the problems are with the other folks. And so that's knife tuning. That's getting down with some sandpaper and do whatever you need to do and clean it to where you want it to be. Or you can just buy it and use it off the shelf. I'm at the point now where I think I've maxed out everything I can find for a folding knife, and I'm moving into the world of the fixed blades and jumping into the water. So join me on the ride, or if you've got any tips or tricks, what I'm doing or what you see I'm doing throughout the videos, holler, put a comment in, let me know. I'm learning, and I hope somebody learns something from what I'm doing, and they can apply it to whatever they're doing in life and their hobbies and their passions. And we can all figure it out, because it's just, otherwise we're going to be watching another video of somebody breaking a knife. Yes, I could jam this into concrete cinder blocks and try to stand on it. I could probably jump up and down and snap it. I'm never going to find myself in that situation in life where I'm climbing with my knife and my feet are on my knife. If my feet are on my knife, I've got other problems. So, y'all enjoy your weekend, and take care. I'm going to go demolish this son of a bitch. Yeah, have a good one. Bye.